Well folks, it's been 4 years and 10 million world-ending reboots later, but I've finally fallen back into Charm's greasy clutches.
Just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in.
First, a little retrospective of my own work.
And the day was saved.
Oh, and I hope you're alright with weird emphasis on every other word, because that's how the entirety of this season reads. I couldn't make sense of any of it.
Let's go kick some underworld ass.
There's like a wall of info here to get readers up to speed with what's happened in the Charmed universe so far, but they can't even stay consistent within that.
Witches must decide within the first 48 hours of their powers awakening if they will travel the path of good or evil.
This is after they mention that often witches exhibit their powers in early childhood. So does that mean a toddler's gotta decide if they're good or evil in the first 48 hours? What about Wyatt's will he or won't he evil-a-thon? What about Phoebe's stint as the evil queen of the underworld? What about Billy's alliance with her evil sister, but she turned back to the side of good in the end? That's talked about on the same page. And who could forget their amazing Harry Potter magic school?
Harry Potter let the older students stay in the battle for Hogwarts.
This is not Hogwarts.
Another surprise came when Gideon proved to be the one working behind the scenes to turn Wyatt.
I thought he was trying to prevent it, working with his mirror universe self to stop a more powerful force. I don't know, Charmed. I'm gonna call bullshit on that one. But look, it's not as if Wyatt was an important part of that season or anything.
Our 8th year in magic began with another loss when our friend Daryl moved his family to the East Coast to protect them from a danger the world no longer believed existed. Us.
So what are our 3 wicked witches up to nowadays anyway? Well, Piper's certainly as humble as ever.
I grew to become the heart of the Halliwell family, as our mother once put it.
Yeah, it's still funny. I don't want to be thinking about Piper's nasty, hairy toes while I'm eating.
No, hell no. Leo, try this sweat soup, and don't you dare wuss out on me. The secret ingredient is my lactated poison.
She's back to the same old grind, rewriting history as she remembers it and blaming Cole for all of her problems. Lord knows we didn't get enough of that for 6 years.
Though he escaped Balthazar's grasp, our relationship ended in tragedy when he could not overcome the darkness still within him. His half-demon side, Balthazar, was in constant battle with the human half, Cole, when I, Phoebe, fell in love with him. Our tumultuous relationship led to a marriage performed in a dark ceremony, even though our love was pure. Unfortunately, that love was not enough to save Cole when his darkness took control and we were forced to vanquish him for good.
Thanks to you, we vanquished the source and gave Cole peace.
It's the only way out for me. And you want it too, so.
Yeah, but on our terms, not yours.
You just want us to vanquish you, suicidal Cole, but nah, we'll do it our way.
Here's Phoebe as they're going to a funeral.
We're going to be late. It's not like the guest of honor will mind. I love it when he wears those jeans. Phoebe! What? I can't look? I simply can't leave the house for this funeral without checking out my brother-in-law's ass. My teeth are terrifying.
Here's Piper melting a street. So that's terrifying.
Shazam!
And this causes a whole host of problems. She creates a beanstalk that attacks them, meaning she has that super powerful projection gift Billy only had. Just kidding, half white lighter kids have it too. But fuck it if they're gonna bind their powers and protect the world and themselves.
At least now I know who was behind those vines attacking me a few months back.
Phoebe, of course, makes her baby's realization of her powers all about herself.
Is it wrong that I'm jealous that she has a better power than me?
Firstborn babies are more powerful than their siblings, which is why Chris and Paige aren't super babies or whatever. I guess that explains some things.
At least there's no Cupid DNA muddying things up for them.
Thanks, Grandma Racist. Henry suggests binding their powers until they're old enough to control it, but as usual for the Charmed ones, Paige acts like this is akin to suggesting they flay them alive. As she puts it, it's not natural. Well, nothing about magic is natural then, is it? Aren't all powers dangerous in the hands of children too young to control them?
Not dangerous enough to warrant us binding her powers.
She nearly burnt your house down. Your family could have died. Not that we'll ever be done, because the charmed ones are still fertile and ready to spread their demonic seed across the land.
If you haven't caught the pattern so far, magic and babies seem to be a recurring theme in our lives.
Shut up.
There's just shit everywhere.
Shut up, Leo.
Yes, ma'am.
You might be wondering why Melinda has white lighter powers when Leo was human when they conceived her.
I was a white lighter much longer than I was human. Probably something in my DNA passed on to Melinda.
You were a white lighter longer than you were human. There was bound to be some transfer of traits through your DNA.
Hey, my oddly specific conclusion was right. No mess up on the part of the comics creators, no sir. Wait, actually, I'm inexplicably angry about my own conclusion now. The elders clipped my wings. They stripped me of my powers. I can't just pass them on to my children, but I guess you can forgive the writers for not being sure because I changed what I am a lot, and in fact the very reviewer of this comic wasn't even certain until now. I'm all over the place!
Then the question is brought up if dark lighters will come after their children.
Part white lighters are probably low on the list.
Okay, you can't have it both ways and say half white lighter babies are less powerful. Either being half white lighter, half witch makes you a super baby, or it doesn't. Pick one. There are a few one-offs sprinkled throughout this that don't necessarily tie into the main arc, and I want to talk about one particular issue centered on Phoebe.
Surely we don't need to move our mouths to talk. Just keep smiling creepily.
It immediately begins with Phoebe writing her advice column, which is a pretty good indicator of how much enjoyment you're going to get out of this story.
Trust. They say it's the foundation for any healthy relationship. I certainly won't disagree. Misplaced trust is what kept me from finding love for so many years.
Trust is the foundation of any relationship. Also, don't trust anyone. Apparently, her version of investigation includes acting all passive-aggressive and then hand-feeding the guy? The hell?
Darn, cuckolded it again.
Stupid SJW misogyny.
After this, Phoebe has a vision of Elise dying. No, not one of her best friends outside of her sisters, as she claims, which is both ludicrous and sadly believable.
I'm so upset about this, my face is disappearing.
Despite them having a heads up, Cal still manages to sneak into Elise's office and terribly injure her. So thanks, Phoebe.
Shit, I was supposed to be protecting her? I was too caught up in staring at myself in the mirror for hours.
Would that not be horribly traumatic for Elise to be healed and then have to reenact her own vicious beating moments later? The hell? Even the demons in the underworld seem to know how tired this plot is.
Wasn't the source vanquished?
I've lost count of how many times.
I thought we vanquished him for eternity last time, or the time before that.
Probably just his demon form. The actual essence of the source is... well, he is the source of all evil.
Hey, did you know you can just open a coffin at a burial and nobody cares?
I knew things had been quiet for too long. This is ridiculous. I'm trying to open a restaurant. I have 3 kids. I don't have time for demons.
Why is this happening? Well, Nina and the Source want to keep the girls distracted while they enact their big bad plan. In addition to the killing, they start making the non-magical folks around them go crazy.
What's up with their eyes?
I'm thinking spell, which means we can't hurt them.
What? Why would it mean that? You heard people under spells all the time.
Our guests are savages. I caught one of them peeing in the kitchen sink this morning.
I'm hoping it was at least a guy.
How would that make it better? This is coming from the same genius who came to this conclusion like a page previously.
It's been a few days since the last attack. Maybe the threat has passed. Or maybe I'm an idiot. What do you think?
The Paige then collects magic from everyone who's ever helped them so they can create the strongest potion ever.
Okay, but I'm not going near the fairies, or the leprechauns, or the nymphs. Seriously, no leprechauns. At least there's no leprechaun DNA muddying things up for them.
But hey, there's Billy! Surely a 4th witch will strengthen them. Are you sure I can't help?
Just knowing you're here if we fail helps, Billy.
Sucks to be you, Billy.
I saw some crazy stuff before. Paige has told me stories. But this is...
not that bad, actually.
Yup.
The Source came back and tried to kill us. We vanquished him again. Our powers are evolving. And I'm going to write a book. It's all about me.
But the big question remains, just who is Nina anyway? Well, it turns out she's the first witch.
We're up against the first witch? That anything like the first slayer?
Well, if you just want to state what storylines you're ripping off, okay.
You think the nexus under the manor is powerful? It barely registers when compared to the nexus of the all.
There's also some Adam and Eve imagery, and I really hope that's not what they're implying because, wow.
You know, this whole story is sounding kind of familiar. You think?
Many belief systems grew out of the same source material.
Oh, just fuck off. This is barely a parallel. I wouldn't even know what the hell you were talking about if there hadn't been an apple drawn in there. Oh, I'm not done with the exposition, by the way, because that would only be merciful. Nina had 2 children, and from each of them descended witches and warlocks, so good and evil is still genetic, and apparently magic is one big incest hole.
I thought warlocks were just witches that turned evil.
They are, but some are born that way too.
Here's what Paige has to say about the first witch Nina, by the way.
Not exactly a witch as we traditionally define witches.
What does that even mean?
Okay, all of those suddenly on Nina's side, raise a hand. He totally ditched her for paradise. I'm siding with the person we just saw murder a bunch of elders and as far as we know, killed Piper. Girl power!
I'll spoil it. He's a dark lighter that Leo's got a centuries-long feud with. His apparent vanquishing was what got him the job as the Charmed One's white lighter.
So that was Rennick? Not much of a threat. All he did was hide and run off.
You're saying this over the corpses of 2 people he just killed. Seeing as how Leo lost his wings because the elders were dicks and made him choose between his duties and his family, he's understandably on the fence about getting his wings back and says no for now.
At least now I've decided of my own free will.
But what if we need to protect the kids? Don't make me melt your head further into your body.
But that's not the important thing. The important thing is that Cole is here.
Aw, shit. It's like a guy can't even stay in hell anymore. Thanks, Colebama. You completely dated this meme.
It's kind of hilarious that Piper doesn't seem to really give a shit why Cole's there. Despite the fact the last time he saw her was to save her life and help Phoebe believe in love again, all she can think about is how this relates to him being evil.
Is this all some kind of ploy to get Phoebe back? Because she's happily married now, with a child.
Cole's neck snaps in response to this news, apparently. This is where Brody is made, double dead?
Technically, Kyle was already dead. He's only moved on.
Moved on to where? Isn't White Lighter Land kind of like heaven or something?
You shouldn't be here. You haven't moved on.
Wait, so they can choose not to move on? Then what's the point of anything? The good guys retreat, and during the fight, Paige is injured and sent into a coma.
I don't feel anything. No emotions.
Well, that's normal for the least empathetic person with empathy. Can I just say, this entire time, he is just useless. Might as well be a potted plant. He's not even good for moral support.
Love should weaken the demons enough for you to finish them off.
Oh man, never mind. The day is fucking saved. But hey, why use that when you could use a, power of one spell? Come on now, Phoebe. This is a spell then, isn't it?
It's the power of Phoebe spell. Do either of you have a way to get back? Possibly. I don't entirely trust it, though. Well, figure it out.
Oh, why didn't she think of that? That's the power of one, baby! And figure it out they do, thanks to Phoebe's stalwart advice. As part of Cole's never-ending path to redemption, he gets Piper out by giving her an apple that, I guess frees her. Kinda giving us mixed messages on the Adam and Eve analogy, but okay.
Crunch.
In order to get out of coma limbo, Paige moves on and meets with her Joker mother and grandmother. If it weren't for me, you wouldn't even exist. None of you would.
Are we supposed to have a clue what you mean by that?
Are you shitting me? She's telling her dreadful children a sweet bedtime story about herself.
And then the beautiful princess cursed the prince to have hot poker shoved up his ass until the lost remote was found. The end.
You're right. Perhaps I unfairly portray Piper as a bit of a shrew. Here's something real she says.
Oh, and threatened to blow up the sign painter if he misses another appointment. My time is more important than that man's life.
Leo notices something a little off about his wife.
Now I'm concerned you're on a different kind of speed.
Classic drug addict Piper.
Don't question me, Leo. Now eat your pancakes like a big boy.
The source of all evil is a snooze to Piper Halliwell. But now she's met her match. Herself. Now there are multiple Pipers, all with exaggerated versions of her various traits. Screaming, bitching, criticizing, griping, blaming, and chef.
Idiot! I warned you to be careful with the saucepans. Hey, don't talk about my staff that way. But tell me more about this bread pudding.
And let's not forget Sexual Assault Piper, every kid's favorite action figure.
I suspected something was wrong. You never want to have sex with me.
Once she pieces together what happened, she scolds her kids about misusing magic. Hey, I know of a way to prevent these sorts of things, Piper.
We never should have taught him to read.
Oh yeah, that was it.
The angels of destiny give us free will, and 5 minutes later we start letting our kids run wild.
Wait, so does personal gain not mean anything anymore? Is there no punishment for anything? Then why do they have to teach Wyatt about personal gain anyway? Hell, if there are no rules about that, why not just use magic for whatever the hell you want? Go nuts. Wait, it's opening night and they're super busy. Why is she behind the bar and not helping her staff cook? She's the chef, right?
To Piper!
To Mommy!
Shut up, Wyatt.
Now it's really time for the Coop to hit the fan.
Did somebody ask for a creepy asshole?
And seriously, with how many dead occupations there appear to be in this franchise, it's a wonder anyone rests in peace.
Stupid cupids keep muddying the underworld with their dirty DNA.
Hey, while I'm talking about Cupid magic, if it's a spell or something, then is it really true love anyway? Why not just talk like a person to help them smooth things over?
I don't know how to explain to him that if they're willing to break up over a cake, it was probably a sham of a marriage anyway. Better just use my magical make it better dust on them. Boy, I'm great at my job.
Just assume everything worked out. Anyway, this whole time, Cole is interfering with Coop's hijinks to basically save him from his own stupid self. Not because he cares about poop or anything, but because it'll hurt Phoebe. What a monster, right?
I can't believe I have so many men who love and protect me. Somehow Cole is at fault for how awesome my life is.
So that's why Billy and Christy were such a threat. Not because they were part of the prophecy, but because Prue's lack of moving on made the rest of the Charmed Ones suck.
Ultimate power, my ass.
Hey, you know what this is a good time for? Some good old-fashioned Cole blaming.
Seriously, Cole, why come back now? Why come back at all? Cole, what did you do?
Who does your family blame for your problems when I'm not around? Thank you. Also, when you're not around, it's still you. Phoebe's awful as usual, and then you got Coop who's like,
Whatever, not concerned about my wife's sex who she constantly blames for everything in her life. I'm an idiot.
Paige doesn't believe Patience is really Prue because she doesn't look like her, but Phoebe and Piper can smell the Halliwell haterade a mile away.
I'd recognize that soul anywhere.
What?
Prudence Joanna, you named your daughter after me, but you always hated me. I never hated you. We had our problems, but I never hated you.
Okay, so good to know Prue died thinking Phoebe basically wouldn't piss on her if she was on fire. Phoebe, with her restored power of empathy, makes this all about her.
It's not like she had any idea when she woke up this morning she'd be meeting her long-lost sister. Yeah, well, I never expected to run into my ex.
Well, why don't you go cry about it to your living mannequin husband, you dipshit? But in a shocking display of some sort of self-awareness, the comics do give us this.
Our relationship wasn't perfect, but I'd be lying if I said I didn't make my share of mistakes. Like becoming the evil queen of the underworld without magical influence, refusing to let you live or die, and then leaving you in the underworld because I was lazy. This is the best you're gonna get from me.
Rennet captures new Chicken Leo, pretty much counting on the Charmed Ones not giving a crap about him or remembering he's gone, which is exactly what happens.
Hey Piper, you notice how you haven't bullied Leo in a couple of weeks? Oh yeah, I thought it seemed quiet around here.
Before the Charmed Ones realize their favorite babysitter is missing and get him back.
Leo!
But hey, I mean, that's sort of traumatizing, being kidnapped and having your mind violated. Maybe they'll give him a few days off. Just kidding. Prue starts acting like a smarmed one straight away, thinking he should immediately start doing handyman stuff for them.
It would be nice if we had Leo's help on this. He should just get over that kidnapping thing. I died and I'm fine.
Kinda thought he already fulfilled his promise to find Prue so Grandma and Mom Ghost could put in a good word for him with the elders, but I guess it's not too surprising those gremlins welched on the deal. But Prue just can't help but get one more dig in, because secretly she's only taking him along so he won't go evil again around Phoebe.
Even everyone else's story center on Phoebe. Thanks for nothing, Colebama.
By the way, I can creepily sense you're going to have another dumb Cupid baby, Phoebe, because shit, there aren't enough kids running around. Bye!
Lordy. Fast forward to the next issue.
The baby's kicking. She does not like this planet at all.
Well, yeah, the baby's kicking. Look at how pregnant size 0 Phoebe is looking. Seeing as how they're in a war zone, all of their devil spawn are sent to be protected by their dad, except for Phoebe's newest one, the most special little girl in the world.
She's only 3 weeks old. I couldn't do that to her, or him. He's got enough to handle with 7 other kids.
Yeah, you're really helping him out keeping one more baby away when he's got 7 diapers to change. That would have been too much. Also, what kind of logic is that?
We can't keep our kids around DEFCON 1, that's insane. Oh, except for my 3-week-old. I'd be doing her a disservice by sending her away.
I think this is all just one of Piper's many ploys to murder her husband. Unsurprisingly, it doesn't work.
Leo, I took time out of poisoning our children for this. The least you could do is get your wings hacked off properly. The doctor did what he could. He promised not to report us, but I wish I had a memory spell to make him forget all this.
I think the magic thing's kinda out of the bag at this point, Piper. With the magic squads and rogue gangs closing in on the school, the Halliwells might finally be vanquished. Unfortunately, they get some help. However, I'll accept that, because then the most awesome thing in the entire season happens. Get ready for this, folks. The cavalry's here, and it's motherfucking Magic Daryl Morris.
Turns out I do want to know.
Yes, yes, yes! Amazing! Fantastic! 10 out of 10. Where's our Daryl spin-off, people? Speaking of evil beyond our comprehension, the Charmed Ones are starting to regain their powers.
Let's see if we can kill Daryl again.
Oh man.
But anywho, her arrival back in town is apparently what's been returning their magic.
Look, I know there are more important things to worry about, but...
Andy's fine, Daryl. Prue spent time with him before she came back.
He didn't even bring him up. Why the fuck would he be talking about Andy like a decade later? Once again proving he's far more self-sacrificing than any of the most selfish heroes in the world, he uses the combined powers of the dead not to send himself back, but Prue.
Yeah, right, Cole. This is all some ploy to get me back. I am cursed to be loved by so many.
Please, somebody kill me. Destroy my soul. I just want oblivion.
Turns out, Prue thought their power stripping spell went wrong and caused this mess, which is why she'd been staying away.
You can start yelling at me now. Nobody's going to yell at you. Like hell I'm not.
We do get the return of Hippie Leo, though, and that's pretty chuckle-worthy.
It would be more interesting if you fought back.
Words are my weapon of choice. Someday I'll get you to see that.
Flower power is no good against my magic.
Not stupid. Magical satellites operated by Team Daryl.
Whatever is there must be too well hidden, even from your magical satellite.
This is the best magical technology we've got. The magic readings are off the charts.
You're a loose cannon, Daryl, but damn it if you don't get a lack of results. If they can get Leo's sword back, they can put things back to normal.
Call in the winged air support. Leo can't cover the skies alone. Oh man, this sucks.
Man, Daryl is kicking some ass. If he's doing this much, you can imagine how many swaths of enemies are being cut down by the Charmed Ones.
They don't have any memories or emotions to turn back on them. My magic's useless.
Yep, sounds about right.
I think Phoebe is supposed to be making some inspirational, defiant speech here, but I am just super distracted because her face is turning into that one Cenobite with the scary teeth. You know the one?
After all these years, you still haven't learned that magic isn't about having the most power. It's about how you use that power.
3 pages later.
What I said earlier, Rennick, sometimes magic is about power.
Well, now Prue's new body belongs to her officially, so she doesn't have to go back to being dead. Magic is restored, and conveniently, no non-magical folks will remember any of this because the story says so. Thanks, Daryl!
Oh man.
but they'll never be allowed to forget.
What?
Anyway, I just wanted to say goodbye to
Whatever, get out.
Oh man! See you at home!
Don't stay out too late.
Love you!
Misogyny!
Well, things are wrapping up, but I feel like there's something missing. Right. Phoebe blaming Cole for something again.
Cole, nice of you to show up now that the fighting's over.
Shut the fuck up. He tells Prue that now she's the conduit that holds the realms together and can never leave the limbo between worlds. Since she'll be stuck in a boring living room forever now, he'll be her messenger whenever she needs to get in touch with her sisters. Wait, so why can't they visit her?
Sorry, writing my column. I'm deciding if I like magic or not. I got children.
And the power of 3 or 4 totally trap Prue forever. The end.